everybody.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
I am Janae Strother.
I'm Sean Spencer.
Back.
We are back.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen.
I gotta go out and hold up.
Come on. The lion. The lion. New man looking so fine. Kirk Cousins. Woo!
Yeah.
All right. I am Janae Strother.
I am Sean Spencer.
And this is Let's Talk Football.
Hey, I'm Sean.
I'm Nate.
And I'm Kate.
This is Let's Talk March Madness.
Woo, woo!
Let's get it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Woo, how we doing today?
Well,
It doesn't feel like Saturday.
I'm a little heartbroken, but I'll be okay. Oh, yeah.
Put it down, Sean.
I don't know why you're heartbroken. Let's go.
I don't know why I am either.
Let's go.
You
Let's
just
go.
couldn't let him have his last game a win.
Yeah. Hey, Wendy, shout out to you. Wendy is also a diehard Duke fan.
Whitney was good.
42 years, and now he retires from basketball. Hey, look, like I told you and I told other people, he's not retired yet. He's not done yet.
No,
Okay?
he's not yet.
He can still win a natty. You know what I mean? So, but
Yeah,
on this day,
it's just
Sid.
the fact that
Oh,
RPS.
Sid, she's sweating.
Tar Heel. I'm done.
Shameful.
What were you saying, Nate?
no, you just ruined it with bringing up North Carolina.
Let's go.
Wendy, he's not gone yet. We still have the NCAA tournament, the ACC tournament. He's going to win a natty, and he's going to make Sean look shameful.
Wow. Hey, there was always today, okay? There was always today. Look, we are so glad you are here, Sid, Wendy, Anthony. So glad you were able to join us. We appreciate you watching, and we're going to get into so much college basketball. And I'm going to tell you, like I told you guys before, and maybe you guys can agree with me on this, there's almost too much college basketball to watch. Like, I can't follow all these games.
It's hard. Unless you have like 64 screens going here, and here.
Yep.
You're not going to catch it all.
That's true.
It's kind of like when the tournament happens, how you can catch all those games when they're going back to back, starting and playing.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Hey, look, we absolutely love it. We're not saying we don't love it, but following it is just so difficult to do. So bear with us as we try to give you everything we got. This is something we all are passionate about and love. So, hey, let's get into it. But real quick, before we do that, unless you've been living under a rock, and I know college basketball is huge, but it's not this big where we can't talk about real life situations. We got to throw prayers up for Ukraine. As you know, a week and a half ago, Russia invaded and has really been just bombarding, that country. And look, prayers for them. The people in Ukraine have been fighting valiantly, doing everything they can do, but prayers for them. You guys want to say anything on that?
All I gotta say is President Zelensky is a hero to me. To be that brave and to be offered to be but brought to another nation or country to be safe. And he's like, no, I'm staying. I'm going to fight for my people. I'm fighting for my country. And to see all those men leave their wives and children at the border and say, I'm going to go back and I'm going to fight and do what's asked of me. It just brings tears to my eyes, and it just gives me chills to think about what's going on over there. And it's just, I don't understand how you have such an evil heart to want to do that to a nation and do that to a people and to want to take over their country and just say you're going to assassinate their leader. And I just don't understand evil in those terms. I just don't get it. And my prayers are with them. My prayers are for them. going through Ann Arbor, you saw Ukrainian flags in yards, that houses that are supporting them at driving into work today. And it just breaks your heart. And it just, God bless them and keep them safe is all I have to say.
Absolutely. You got anything, Nate?
No, I'd second what everything Kate said. Right, spot on. I'm just going to continue to just pray for them, pray for the Ukrainian people. And, that I'm hopeful that things will turn around. But it's not just the global community is watching, and I mean, war. It makes no sense. I mean, it doesn't solve anything because the true victims are the people that have to suffer and they have to rebuild.
Yeah,
and I believe that the Ukrainian people will, in time, things will turn around. But we got to start holding people in positions of power more accountable, and keep the evil out, and do some good around the world.
absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
agree.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, since we are a basketball show, we do have to talk about basketball-related news. One of our own was detained in Russia and kind of is dealing with that. Brittany Griner. Nate, you broke the story to us. What did you hear?
So I found this out this morning. It was around 10:45. I slept in and missed my alarm, unfortunately. And I'm on Twitter. Shout out to Christina Williams and a few other WNBA reporters that I follow. Brittany Griner got detained at a Russian airport for having more, I guess, according to their laws on narcotics, of hash oil, vape pens. And we just find this out. This has been almost 3 weeks now that she's been detained. Angel McCaultrey on her Instagram according to a screenshot by Christina Williams said she's been over for 3 weeks. So I'm really praying that she's okay and she's safe. I know her fiance on Twitter was saying something about it too. The WNBA Players Association, that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But for what I do know, though, mostly it's just her that's out of Russia, and because there's several WNBA players that play for Russia, that are for Russian Basketball League and in Ukraine. So she's, from what I understand, the only one that's left.
Oh wow!
There. So yeah, I'm really praying for her safety and she comes home.
Yeah.
So
now, Kate, it wasn't that much though, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Sounds like it's not that much. A little backstory for me, as I work in the cannabis industry and I work in a dispensary, so I understand what she's being detained with. And the little cart things that she has are probably no longer than an inch and a half. And there's a tip on it from what you smoke from, and then there's the oil part. And those oil parts can only have maybe a half a gram to a gram of this oil in it. And it sounds like she had maybe 7, maybe 8 carts, maybe not a lot. It's not like she had like ounces on her.
Right.
She had more grams of these on her. Enough probably to last her time over there.
Right.
Because you're not even allowed to be sold a lot of them, depending on which dispensary you go into. There's limits. And so it's just interesting now that Russia's in this war with Ukraine, and all of a sudden we're putting all these sanctions on their oligarchs and on their people and on their financial system, trying to crush them, that they now are letting us know they've detained her as kind of a pawn in their game to say, okay, you've done this to us. Now I'm going to let you know we have one of your best WNBA players detained when they've had her for 3 weeks.
Right.
But I'm just telling you what it sounds like is, to some people it might sound like bad because she did take it over there and she probably shouldn't have. But to tell you, these things are so small. They're not very big at all. They're tiny. And they only have so much in them. So if there are 0.5 grams of it, this oil, she could have 10 of them and it would only equal 5 ounces or 5 grams. So it's just crazy that in this day and age that we even have to worry about being detained for this stuff. But yeah, I can tell you right now, it sounds like she doesn't have like she has grams of this, not like ounces or pounds or enough that you would get even like international narcotics agencies involved.
Yeah, it looks like they took advantage of a situation where they're like, "Oh, we can use this." So that's terrible, man. Prayers for her. Hopefully, she is able to get out of that and get home safe.
For sure.
That's we never ever want to see anything like that. But it is basketball, so we definitely wanted to bring that to your attention. And when speaking about Ukraine, but we know why you're here. You're here to talk about one of the greatest times of the year. It is March, ladies and gentlemen. Time for March Madness. Yeah, buddy. And oh my goodness gracious. I mean, a week ago, before March even began, the top 6 teams got upset. Okay? That's how we brought in March. It's been crazy, Katie. Like, it has been absolutely crazy. Where do you want to start?
I just was impressed last week that the top 6 teams got defeated. Like it went boom, 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 boom. Like they say, March comes in like a lion and it goes out like a lamb. So we're starting the month out right. And I'm just impressed at how much of a shakeup the top 25 has had this year. I mean, it's been almost like the tournament because it's like on any given Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, the top team can go down.
Exactly.
Like St. Mary's taking down Gonzaga this last week. I was just like, what?
Right.
It's crazy.
It's funny because they play each other a lot, and you're like, well, could they do it? Can they do it? But to see it actually happen, and as well as Gonzaga has been playing this year.
Oh, they've been playing so good, and they have that outstanding freshman, Chet Holmgren, that's just phenomenal.
So here we have it right here. So you had the St. Mary's upsetting Gonzaga. You had Colorado almost beating Arizona, number 2 Arizona by 20. Tennessee upsets Auburn. Michigan State upsets Purdue.
Verizon is going ultra
Baylor
with
upsets
5G ultra
Kansas,
wideband and many more
Arkansas upsets
with up to 10 times faster
top
speed.
16 going down
in minutes or a song in seconds.
If this isn't bringing
Verizon
us in
going ultra,
to March
so
Madness, Nathan, I mean, I don't know what is.
I mean, that's the whole point of March Madness. I mean, you could be a Cinderella team. You can be one of the best. And top 16 teams had a reality check first week. But it can also come in like a lamb and go out like a lion too. So
Oh, I like that.
I'm just impressed right now with Arkansas as a team because it's not a well-known basketball school for the SEC, and now that they're kind of like showing their might and showing what they have, and it's really kind of cool. My little known fact: my brother is a graduate professor of biology there, so he goes to a lot of the games. And so he said it's just been such fun to be on the campus and to see those guys play so hard and be determined to be in the top 25 and show that Arkansas cannot be more than just known for their football. They can be known for their basketball too. And their coach is doing really good with recruiting. So I'm really impressed.
Absolutely. Now, and they had a great game today. Unfortunately, they didn't get the W, but they had an amazing game against Tennessee. And I mean, Tennessee, they're making a case for themselves to get into the tournament as well. But these guys are playing great right now. Tennessee jumped out to a huge lead, up beating them 50-29 at the half. But I mean, I'm telling you, just like what you were saying, Katie, Arkansas came back in the second half after 45 points in the second half. Like they dominated the second half, brought it in,
whatever
could not
comes.
seal the deal at the very end. But I mean, they look good. They look good, and they're playing well right at the right time.
They are, and it's just amazing to
again.
see them play so
He'll
well.
wait. The drive and kick. Huge streak coming. Abune got it.
Absolutely. Tennessee was 4 players in
They
double
won a
figures,
grim
in double
decision by
digits.
KD Notae. He's gonna take a tough decision
And
to
you
put it
saw
on
that
the
Likes
floor.
came off the
An
bench and
assist
played
to
pretty
Stanley
well. But
Abune.
honestly,
And
it was
Arkansas
Note
at
and it was
8-0.
Amoud that definitely dominated for Arkansas. Weren't able to get the W, but shout out to them for sure. But the men's tournament has been great. I cannot lie, but I kind of feel like we lean a little bit towards the women's tournament. Nathan, I'm coming to you. I know your Lady Terrapins, they took a loss, man. But can we talk about the game, man? I don't want to. I'm not trying to be mean, man. I don't want to gloat because my team got a W today. I'm trying to help. I'm trying to talk to you
About Maryland.
Maryland Terrapins, baby.
Oh boy, Nate, is it all right?
I mean, you want me to go first?
Yeah.
If you don't mind, Nate.
I love my Lady Terps. I love them. I do. This is the same team we just saw a week ago, and we beat them. Angel Reese, ladies and gentlemen, is arguably could be a top 10 WNBA player draft prospect next year. Angel Reese is our bread and butter. The fact that we didn't even utilize her game, we didn't even take the same energy to beat them the last time. Maryland missed 10 threes.
Mm-hmm.
The fouls. We deserve to lose that game. But, fun fact, I remember, I think it was 2014, 2015. Maryland had gotten beaten, I think, in the first round of the ACC. I think at that time we were in the ACC or Big Ten tournament. It was one of those two. I remember it was a transition year for us. And I remember they got, I think, into like the Final Four that same year they lost. Diamond Miller, I love her. I do. Can be a future WNBA ball player. Learn to be a team player. Okay.
All alone was Miller.
Ashley
The pass was
Wanson
way
had
too
an
high
opportunity
for
to cut
her.
it down to 3 going
And
to
so
halftime.
Indiana is running. Great pass.
What the hell were you doing?
Perfectly placed.
Trying to
for
take
Ellie
it to the lane
Pepper.
and turn the ball over.
Look at the answer immediately by Reese.
I was looking for my 3-point shooters. Couldn't find them. Chloe Bibby, nowhere to be found. Usually, you only had 2 stars to help double digits in scoring.
You have to play it off of misses and
Disgusting. I mean,
I'm sorry, man.
I really knew the game was. I went almost threw my phone at the wall. I'm watching them while I'm working from home, especially when they play. We're talking with Ashley, where she is drilling between her legs. We had it cut the 3. We were down 3, and then all of a sudden she goes down. She's taking to the lane, and she turns the ball over. That's why I really wanted to throw on my phone. But we did not understand the assignment. With that being said, I really do hope that we do take lessons from this. I got to give Brenda Freeze and all seriousness some credit. I mean, from the beginning of the year, I mean, she's just dealt with injuries, and these girls have played resiliently well. Yes, they've disappointed in big games, but they've not had a full healthy squad all year. I still make a case that she should be coach of the year. But I know they're going to give it to Dawn Stanley. That's okay. I'm guaranteeing Maryland's going to be in the Final Four.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
Ooh,
all right.
You go.
Oh, wow. You know what? I mean, look, I'm not even gonna judge. I'll give you
That make me crazy.
That is crazy.
Okay, I like that.
I just don't understand that Andrew is our bread and butter. We do like.
You're right. And they should have gone to her more. She only had 14 points. Did have a double, getting 13 boards. Out the bench,
Ashley Awansu.
Awansu, yeah, 21 points. 4 boards in there. Did pretty good. But look, you had no help from anybody else. You know what I mean? The next
Chloe Bibby, Mimi Collins, Katie Benson, Cheyenne Seller, 6th man of the year. Like, oh my gosh,
nothing. So
nothing.
Definitely was.
And it didn't feel like a neutral. It felt more like an away game. Don't get me started on that.
Uh-oh. Watch out now. Watch out. But look, you weren't the only one that had to deal with something like that. Yesterday, the Michigan Lady Wolverines also fell to a very surprisingly good Nebraska team, Katie.
And the thing is, we were down a lot in that game, and we came back, and at one point we're leading it when we made our comeback after half.
Yeah.
And I think we just gassed ourselves during that game. It was hard for them to feed Naz Hillman. They had 2 coverage, 3 coverage sometimes on her.
They put zones on her a lot too. Yeah,
they were swarming her. Like they knew if she had the ball, it was over. So, and it was hard to get to some of our other threats. We weren't shooting from 3 as well as we've been throughout the season. So, it was just weird because I looked at Coach Kim Errico and she just looked lost during the game. Like, what is going on here? This is not how we usually play. So unfortunately, yes, we did come away with the L against Nebraska, but look what happened today. Nebraska
took the L. It got whooped.
Got whooped by none other than who I know. Nate thinks Aaliyah Boston deserves the National Player of the Year, but Caitlin Clark, that girl is fierce and dynamite and just can take over a game and say, you're not doing that to me.
And look, I gotta be honest, Nathan, I'll bring that back to you real quick. I mean, I saw both games. Aaliyah Boston is a force. She definitely is a huge contributor to that team. But similar to like the Steph Curry question, how good is Steph Curry? Well, when you can shoot from half court and drain it, I mean, it's hard to go elsewhere. So Nate, what do you think, man?
I mean, I'm not discrediting Caitlin Clark as she's a great player, but my question is, what's around her?
The thing is, if you take Caitlin Clark out, I was not the team that they would be.
I understand that.
South Carolina could still be a great team with who Dawn Staley has. Without, if Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark were injured, which team would still win?
South Carolina.
Yes.
But
so
the thing is,
had a lot of great talent around her, but Iowa's been winning with not a whole ton of great talent, but with Caitlin Clark.
Okay, but is that Caitlin or is that just poor recruiting by their coach?
That's Caitlin. It's her athleticism. It's her willingness to say, I'm not going to lie down and lose, and I'm going to do whatever it takes for us to win.
But don't you think that there should be more around her?
There should be, but the fact that she can do what she does is superlative to whatever I've seen in college women's basketball.
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with anything you're saying, but I don't think it's sustainable, especially when you get into March Madness. Because I didn't like the fact her coach, after not the previous win, kind of take a shot at Dawn Staley saying, well, I don't have 10 All-Americans. I'm like, you don't, but okay, it's true, but you could do better with your recruiting then if that's the case. I mean, it's
kind of like looking at a Nick Saban versus what other coaches can recruit. Are you going to go play for the top, or are you going to go play for the mid range to the bottom?
But it's also the area where you're from. I mean, think about where they're recruiting them to. Iowa's not really that exciting.
No.
Well, when Dawn Stanley got to South Carolina, she had unranked Joku, players. I mean, she's
but
built that.
South Carolina is a beautiful area, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the area outside of it.
It's all
South
country.
Carolina. It's not all country. Not as country as Iowa.
It's South Carolina. It's all the same. It's all it's country.
You know what, Maryland. You know, all right, go back.
It's like a cornfield in Iowa.
Yo, but listen, let's go into some of the other games that we saw. Nathan, you were talking about one of the more exciting finishes that we've seen. Miami and what was it, Louisville?
Louisville, number 4 Louisville. That was a surprise.
Yeah, that was an upset.
Miami was. I think they were on my team that was a bubble team. I was shocked. Louisville. I mean, they had a really good year. I like Harden. She had 27. Really only had 2, and then Madabu off the bench. Harden practically carried the team. Everybody else, I mean, no one was really nowhere to be found. I mean, you only had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 scores. And also, too, Louisville, they struggled, particularly from 3. They shot under 35%, and they shot under 40% from the field the whole game. So, Miami took advantage, and they had a good look at the hoop and won the game.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And ladies and gentlemen, I mean, if you missed it, it was one of the most exciting finishes. And what I like the most is they hit the shot and they said, all right, going back to the sideline. But I'm wondering, with all that commotion about the handshake, is that going to be a problem? But let's look at the shot real quick.
Marshall inbounds it. She gets it to Harden. That's for the win. It's over! It is over! 27 points. Harden wins it.
They're like, no handshake for you.
Right. I know. I love it. I understand the excitement, but at the same time, it's kind of like,
yeah, that was cringe. That was cringe. I cringed at that. I was like, oh, okay.
Because they had a point
going on their sideline too.
Well, right, because they had a point where they looked like it was gonna stop, and they looked right at that bench, and then they turned and went to the locker room, and I was like, don't do that. So we shall see. Great shot, nonetheless. Great game. Altogether, it was absolutely amazing.
But not everyone's handshaking. Like one of the last games with the Kentucky and Arkansas. When Coach Calipari said, "Go to the locker room. Go to the locker room. They're going to storm the court. They're going to storm the court. Go to the locker room." Yeah. So he avoided his handshake there and sent his starters back to the locker room as soon as I hit 0.00. So they didn't do a handshake line.
Hey, they're starting. I think it's going to stay. That is another question. I'm glad you brought that one up because I definitely think they're going to keep with the handshake line.
I think you have to. It's sportsmanship. It's part of the game. Yeah. Look, I understand you're going to get frustrated when you lose a game. I mean, I played varsity baseball in high school, participated in varsity baseball. There were games where we were getting our ass kicked, but we still showed respect for our opponents. Like this, I mean, I think some of this is all because of what happened with Coach Howard and Coach Gard, and now it's like, and then the way the media has been, okay, like, do we need to get rid of the handshake line? Like, no, like, in the NBA they don't. Well, the NBA they do it, but they kind of just wave at each other and go their separate ways.
They talk to who they want to talk to, exchange jerseys, who they want to exchange jerseys with, and kind of just do their thing, give the hugs to whoever, and just leave. But hey, speaking of the Guard Wisconsin thing, after tomorrow, my boyfriend's back and you're gonna be in trouble. Hey, my boyfriend's back.
I love it. Howard returns. Oh,
after
I cannot wait.
He's back.
Right on time, too. Right on
time. Over.
Let's go. And hey, necessary, definitely needed.
I just had to mention that because I'm excited.
Well, look, hey, talking about handshake line, talking about coaches that might have gotten into a little bit at the handshake line. I mean, let's keep going with the coaches because not every coach had a great week or had a great day. Let's go down to you mentioned Nick Saban. There's another coach for the women's team. She didn't even last the first half. She got kicked. She got thrown out, 2 technicals. And if you look at one of the calls, she was basically yelling at the ref saying it should have been a foul. The first one looked like it could have been a foul for sure. And she was relentless. She kept going, following up and down the court, got 1 technical. Then, as you can see, there was another shot where she was going for a layup. Looked like she got fouled again. Maybe that one was less. That one was more murky. You didn't really know. But she went after him again, and she kept going. They tried to pull her back. They were not able to. I was surprised because I'd seen her get fired up before, but not to that extent. Katie, what did you think of Alabama's women's coach?
That was crazy. That was nuts. Are we talking about Kim Mulkey or are we talking about Alabama's coach?
Alabama.
Alabama. Oh yeah,
Alabama.
I saw that, and she has a right to defend herself, and she has a right to defend what was going on. Like they were even saying lately that the refs are getting a little too whistle happy on a lot of things in college sports. Like there are times where they call things and it's like, come on, just let them play, but did she deserve to get ejected?
She got the 2 techs.
She did. You got to do what the refs tell you. You got to
Yeah.
do what the refs tell you. And if the refs feel like you're going overboard and you're overstepping and you are not to be out on that court anymore, you got to do what they tell you. Or, it's kind of like the suspension with Howard. He has to do what they're telling him.
Well, right. And at the end of the day, I think it goes back to kind of on one side, it goes back to what you said when we talked about the Howard suspension. You are the leader of men. You are the leader of women. You have to be the more mature, even if you are hot under the collar. Now, on the flip side, I will say this. I do have to show respect. And Nate, I'm coming to you. I got to show respect at some point because what she was yelling at was that my girls are getting fouled. They're getting hacked. We all see it. You aren't calling it. Yeah. I'm going to let you know about it. You know what I mean? Right. And maybe in the way that she did it, she didn't need to keep pestering them, but at the same time, she was like, "You're gonna hear what I have to say." Nate, what do you think, man?
I'm looking at the video, and the refs. That should have been that was a foul. The first one was a foul. The second one was that's questionable. Like, right. I think what people were asking for is consistency calls with the refs. Exactly. I do feel like referees, they're human. They're going to miss certain stuff. Like there was an example in, if you don't mind, the Maryland game where Diamond Miller's arm is clearly being held by, I think it was Marlboro. I think that's the name. And I'm like, that's a foul. Call that. Right. I don't know what they're looking for. I'm not sure if it's just we're just going to let them play. And I kind of feel like some of this is because the referees have more power now. Because of the rule change, some of that may have come with. I know that's different than NBA, but there needs to be more consistency. Now, I like the fact that Coach she did stand up for her players because you don't want your best player to get ejected. So as a coach, you're stepping in and say, I got it. Let me talk to them. But there is a level of composure that you have to keep as a coach. So
here's the I'm gonna go ahead and play the clip and kind of let you guys be the judge.
Tamari Key until Alabama figures out how to stop that. You keep feeding it to number 20.
It was a foul. I've seen less get called.
That's a ticky-tack foul.
And so she
Darby's
mentions, she
short on the
starts to go
shot.
and say that, and she's talking to her. You can
And
see.
Christy
And
Curry
see, here's
with
the
the
thing. She
technical
comes
foul.
off of that little side area.
She wanted a
and
foul
she comes
called on
onto
the block
court
by Tamari
and
Key on the
starts
other
to
end.
go after them.
Yeah, you see that? You can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that. Because at that point, it's like you're showing the referee up.
Yeah.
Because if you clearly look, like right here, that's ticky tack. I mean, hit her on the hand. That's ticky tack.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it was.
That's a
little
tough
more
one
with the
on the
body.
officials because a lot of times
that-
if
She
the
hit her
defensive
on the
player
hand.
breaks the plane and goes down
Right.
with their arm,
Right.
more
And you
times
still-
than not,
and I
the
agree with
official
what you were saying,
calls
Nate,
the
that you
foul.
do have to be consistent. But yeah, as
It
you
could
see,
go
it
either
just
way
continues.
there.
It continues.
I didn't think it was
continues
enough
all the way
to
through the
be
shot,
to
all the
get
way
that
through the
upset
break,
about
all the
with
way
Christy
through
Curry.
the
I mean,
whole
there have
timeout,
been
and she's
different
just
contact.
not
It
letting
wasn't
up.
To
like
be fair, you see a lot
Key
of
knocked
that
to
coaches
Abrams
will
to the
do that
floor.
with refs instead
Very
of
true.
She didn't. Yeah, she blocked
Oh,
the
very
shot.
true. Very
I
true.
don't
And,
know.
and again, a lot of
that
it is
was
what
one
you're
I would
saying.
get that upset
A
about.
lot of it is what the demeanor and
think
you're
she's
saying.
trying to
And a lot
fire
of it
her team, too?
is how they're
Absolutely
refing.
she
Because
is.
sometimes,
Mingo Young
like I'll
swipes it.
mention, watch here. That's the other.
That's a foul.
Right.
That's a foul.
Stays with
And
Alabama.
so with this one, he at one point, and we'll see it, he actually pulls his mask down and he's like, "You need to back up. Like you need to stop. We're done." And she keeps going, and that's what drew that. Because look, they had to run out to get her.
That's 2 technicals on Christy Curry. She just got ejected.
And then she already knew after that. So, honestly,
She was
it's
at
just
half court
Yeah, see, she
arguing
came
about
at
the
half
no
court.
foul call, and
Like-
Christy Curry has been ejected from this game.
yeah. And so at that point, you knew, she knew it. And look, I got to give her credit because she's going after defending her girls. She's making sure they know that I got your back if nobody else does. And that's what I think when she went back to the huddle, she was saying, you cannot count on the refs.
You
It is
can't.
us. You know what I mean? It is just us. They're going to not give you any calls or anything. So you go out there and you play, and it's just us. And that I can relate to. I love that. I tell all my kids that when I coach, But at the other time, you do have to know, being in that position, you're in the spotlight. I mean, Katie, what do you think?
And when you don't call the foul, and let's say the girl gets hurt, you're
True.
trying to protect your player from injury when they're getting hacked or held or whatever is going on under that basket. Because I, for one, when having my nephew play basketball, I remember coaches used to coach to hurt him when he
That's different times. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way some coaches are coaching these days. Are take them down, take them out. We want them out of the game. We want this. So coaches are going to protect their players from injury and harm and everything else. And so by not calling the foul, it gives like the Tennessee players the ammunition to say, I can get away with anything.
Exactly.
And I could really hurt her if I really wanted to, because they're not calling anything.
Mm. And it's interesting.
It's an interesting fine line, because if you don't call it, that tells Tennessee they can do whatever. They're not going to get called.
Yeah.
So you got to at some point draw a line and start blowing the whistle, or else you're going to have this team thinking they can just run all over them and do whatever they want.
Well, I think I think it's also you have to understand, just like in football, like different officials ref different ways, so you have to understand what is being called and what's not being called.
But I think go ahead, Sean.
I was gonna say, like in the game we're gonna talk about, North Carolina game, there was in the very beginning it was nothing being called. Then all of a sudden there was a lot being called. Then it was nothing. You know what I mean? It's just like a lot of back and forth. And then there's like sometimes when guys are getting hacked and there's no call, but then it comes down again, the guy barely gets touched and gets all ball and they foul it. You know what I mean? So there's also those, makeup calls that definitely happen. That happens. Like, so but Nate, go ahead. Say what you were about to say. And then after that, we got to move on, Nate.
But I think with today's basketball, I think we've grown accustomed to looking for a foul call every possession when there's not a foul. Like even with the Olympics last year with Team USA, like I would see Bradley Beal or Jason Tatum throwing their hands up like, where's the foul? Like, this is FIBA. Like, no, that everything can't be a foul. But
exactly.
there needs to be some consistency, and I guarantee you that's going to be something that's going to be talked about after the season with the NCAA basketball. There's got to be consistency. I've seen it with the men too. Has to be some consistency with the play calling. But really quick, I wanted to point out that Alabama only had 3 people coming off the bench, and they played less than 20 minutes. I mean, when you're shooting as a cohesive unit, you're shooting 18 under 20% from 3 and then under 35% from the field, you're not winning that game.
Right.
So
they struggled. They struggled the whole way through. But speaking of a team not relying on the bench, the second half of this next game, our starting 5 played the entire half.
What was that?
Beat Duke. I'm sorry. Yeah, UNC got the W in Coach K's last day. And before we do that, I definitely want to send my best wishes and just admiration and love to Coach K, an amazing coach, definitely one of the most amazing men and humanitarians. And you saw the note that Dickie V wrote to him after the game. I mean, it was amazing, man. You see how many people he touched. You see how all his players that came back to see him. I mean, that was beautiful. And I'm going to let you get into that when you talk about Coach K in your segment next. But I do want to, I want to say, and I think you could agree with me, were the lights too bright? Did everybody come and talk to Duke and kind of, were their players just caught up in the moment, or?
I think there was a lot of pressure on them to win that game for them. And I think I did not see them play to the potential that I'm used to seeing them.
Yeah.
They did not play you guys nearly like they played you at
when they whooped us.
When they whipped you by 20.
Right.
But that was not like the standard play that I was used to from Duke. And I just didn't feel like their ball handling was very well. And I didn't think their passing was good.
Yeah.
And you can't always rely on the star player for Duke to take over and win the game for him. Everyone else has to show up too. Mm-hmm. And I think Coach K had a lot of pressure on him to win that game, and maybe he didn't execute the game the way he would have normally. So it was just, when you have this prestigious 42-year career in the NCAA and it's your last game on a court named after you, there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
So I just feel like the players had the pressure more on them, and I didn't see them execute and play to the best of their abilities tonight. And and they let, as you call him, Red Jesus, have a few too many from 3.
1 minute while we talk about Red Jesus.
Oh, God, help me.
I love it. My guy, Brady Manek, man, he balled out today. 20 points, 11 boards, played 40 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. But look, Katie, to your point, I think we kind of rose to the occasion, but we only had 2 bench points. Okay, it was all starters. It was all
like a Maryland game.
I felt like I was watching a Central Michigan game where Coach Barbie only plays like 6 people, and that's about it.
It was surprising. Honestly, the only time Armando Bacot came out is when he got into foul trouble. We got those 2 early fouls. Then he came out of the game, and I'm going to tell you something. I thought it was over then because we started out, we were up, 11-2 or something like that, or 11-4, and then they take him out, and we couldn't stop anybody in the paint. I mean, they rolled. That guy rolled, dunk, roll, dunk, roll, pass, roll 3. And it was just like, oh, my gosh.
That was not my typical game for Bonchero, though. He usually plays a lot better and a lot smarter than he did tonight.
Mr. Bonchero, I said Mr. Bonchero, Mr. Habanero. He was hot. He was hot when he was hot.
He wasn't consistent. So it is what it is. It's over with now. Now I just hope they go off to the tournament, the ACC tournament, and win it. And then, you're a bubble team. Stop it. I'm no bubble. My one team in Durham is not a bubble. My other team in Ann Arbor is a bubble. But I really hope like Coach K wins it all. Joanna, I love you with all my heart. You still have my heart, but I want to see Coach K win it all. Get his 6th title and right off into the sunset.
Now let me ask you this.
What?
Tournament time comes. Michigan, Duke. If they play and they meet in the tournament, where's your allegiance lie, Kate?
Like I said, I want Coach K to win it all.
You'd go against your shirt, your boys?
I'm sorry, but Howard's going to be there for a long time. He's going to stay and do his thing and all that. But Coach K, last season, you're never going to see him again.
Wow.
Let him win and just do his thing and right off into the sunset with Mickey, the grandkids, and everything else. And I would be okay. I'd be okay. I just hope Michigan makes it that far.
Well, right. It's funny because you see her, they always pan to her in the crowd, and everybody's standing up yelling, and she's just, because she's thinking about, I know what he's thinking. I know what he's dealing with.
And did you see how many times she'd be like, time out.
Right. Time out.
Time out.
So, and
telling him what he needs to do.
Right. And I know he's listening. But look, Cameron Indoor, Coach K's building is absolutely amazing. Love it. The atmosphere, everything that is definitely going on there. Nate, would you like to speak about our victory today?
No, I don't. Who cares about North Carolina?
Let's go. Let's go. Yo, we have got to move on. We thank you guys so much for watching us. And sticking right here, Kate. Right here, we're gonna start a new segment on this show. It's called Kate's Coaches, where Kate highlights a coach or men's, women's that's just a great coach, but also a great person. Right. And hey, where else is a better place to start with on the day that he's getting celebrated so much? Coach K. Kate, what you got?
First off, I just have to preface this with I wasn't always a big Coach K Duke fan.
Oh.
It was an interview on ESPN that I saw with him, and I fell in love. And I actually, like, when I was in management, I read his book about character and with the characteristic traits you're supposed to have in life. It was a great book. But anyway, Coach K started in Duke in 1980. He's won 5 national titles in 91, 92, 01, 2010, 2015. He's been to 12 Final Fours. He's been to 15 ACC tournament championships and 13 ACC regular season titles. Only John Wooden has won more NCAA double championships with 10. He's coached the U.S. national team and has won 3 gold medals in 2008, 2012, 2016. He's the coach of FIBA World Cup, who won gold medals in 2010, 2014. He was the assistant to Chuck Daly in 1992 when the Dream Team won their gold medal. I mean, he's just phenomenal. And if you didn't know, he is an Army vet, served in Vietnam.
Nice. And
he was an assist after being in the Army. He was a point guard in 1966 to 69 under the infamous, lovable, kind, loving Bobby Knight. And then he went on to coach Army from 75 to 80. He is a 2-time inductee into the Naismith Hall of Fame, 2001 for his own coaching, and 2010 when he coached for the Dream Team. He went into the College Basketball Hall of Fame in 2006 and in 2009 for the U.S. Olympic Hall of Fame. So he's in a lot of Hall of Fames.
Yeah, to say the least.
in November 15th, 2011, winning 74-69 versus Tom Izzo and MSU to become the winningest coach in Division I over Bobby Knight. He's got a lot of accolades. I could write a million notes about this man. And then in 2015, on January 25th, he became the winningest Division I coach and reaching 1,000 wins. Both those two milestones he achieved at Madison Square Garden.
Nice.
And then in June 2nd of 2021, he would announce he would retire. And he was born in Chicago, just discharged from active duty in 1974 as a captain in the Army. He's been offered 5 different head coaching positions in the NBA, turning them all down, saying Duke is his number one love. He was offered the Celtics job, the Trailblazers job, the Lakers job, the Nets job, and recently the Timberwolves job, turning them all down. He married his wife, Mickey, in 1969. He has 3 granddaughters and 10 grandchildren. He has a nonprofit, the Emily K Center, named after his mother. And his mother was a big on character and the purpose of community and breaking the cycle of poverty. So he's very big on breaking the cycle of poverty wherever he is living, and breaking the cycle of poverty and making sure he takes good care of his players and everything else. Yeah. And then he's also part of Duke's Children's Hospital Network and part of the Children's Miracle Network. He's very intricate in the V Foundation for Cancer Research, which is Jimmy Valvano's foundation, who died of cancer. Great coach. And he's an active donor at Duke. And he's part of the Code of Support Foundation, nonprofit for military services organization. In 2012, he won the Basketball Writers Association Wayman Tinsdale Humanitarian Award. So he's got lots and lots and lots of great things that he does. But most recently, Sean, you and I have talked about this. He really came out in support of Black Lives Matter, made it known to his team, made it known to the world that he is in support of diversity. He's in support of the movement, being more socially aware. He wants us more aware of what's going on there. So there's not enough good things to say about this man. I mean, you can hate him all you think you want, but there's nothing to hate other than he's been a dominant, great coach. And it's sad. I'm trying not to get choked up because I've lost Tom Brady. Now I'm losing Coach K. So I feel like a lot of change and turnover is happening in sports. Definitely. I mean, now there's not going to be all the seasoned coaches we're used to in the NCAA. Roy Williams is now retired. Now Coach K. Who's going to be next? Is it going to be a Bill Self? Is it going to be a Coach Calipari? Jim Boeheim, one of his best friends. And what's really cool is to see every arena he's gone to play in this year. They've done some sort of nicety for him. And
good. He deserves it.
Celebrating his retirement and everything, but 42 years. What's interesting is I wore 42 in basketball, and
nice.
So it kind of is lining up. 42 is a good number, good place to stop, but he's not done yet. He still has to coach his team in the ACC tournament. He will be coaching them hopefully to a championship. And yes, if they do play Michigan, I don't care. I want Coach K to win it all. I think he deserves to go out like that because the man is a good man.
Amen.
And there you have Coach K.
Amen. Yeah, buddy. Thank you, Katie. Thank you. I really like that. I really, really like that. And yeah, so shout out to Coach K. And even amid all my issues with him being a Duke coach, him as a man, and even him as a coach. You got to have respect for all of his accolades and everything he's done for all of those players. And if you didn't know how much he was loved and appreciated, look at the returning players. All the returning players.
Crazy cool to see all of them back, and to see how many of them have gone off to have successful NBA careers. And I mean, I just was looking because before I learned to love him, it was hard for me to love like a Leitner or a Hurley or a Grant Hill, and now I'm just like, oh, there's Grant Hill.
Hold up. I don't gotta love all them. All right, I don't gotta love Leitner. I don't gotta love, Grant Hill. He's from my area, so I don't have an issue with him as much, even though his daddy's a Cowboy.
The only player he's ever had that I have an issue with is the same one I think the whole nation has a problem with. Is Grayson Allen. He's got a little attitude. He's got a little problem, anger.
Attitude?
A little attitude.
Tripping.
Anyway,
yo.
Yeah, but anyway, that's probably the only player I have an issue, the biggest issue with. But like, I loved Shane Battier. I loved JJ Redick. You gotta love Jay Williams.
Yep. I wasn't a fan of Redick. I wasn't a fan of Redick when he was playing for Duke because he was an assassin.
He was.
He could shoot the ball.
I love that boy.
Yeah. After he got into the league, I liked him, but I didn't like him in college at all. Oh, I hated him. Oh,
every other announcement was Redick for 3, Redick for dress lane, Redick this.
No, but I will. Good.
But I will say this too about him: is he's as humble as they come.
Yeah.
Like to see the reaction when he was fist pumping all his players as he was going through that tunnel tonight, and see him try to get his composure. You know how much those boys mean to him, and how much.
Absolutely.
Because he still is a part of their lives, even when they leave the sacred halls of Cameron Indoor Arena. I mean, he loves those boys. I mean,
absolutely.
It's just crazy. And, I sent you that video, Sean, of Michael Jordan praising him, which you would never think Michael Jordan would praise a Duke coach being from North Carolina, but
Jordan was very close to Dean Smith, and Dean Smith and Coach K were very close.
Yeah.
So I can see that from him. I don't know if I can say that for all North Carolina players, but for Jordan, because of how close he was with Dean Smith, I can see that.
LeBron just came out with his tribute video to him, calling him the GOAT.
Wow.
Saying that I know LeBron's a sore subject to some people, but to hear him say the words he said and what, Coach K meant to him, coaching him as part of the Olympic teams, and how many of those NBA players have come out and said really great things about him. Mm-hmm. It just shows his impact across the board from
absolutely.
And, but yeah, it's time for him to sail off to the sunset and just be retired. He's not going to coach any NBA team, so don't put that in the
Katie.
atmosphere.
I agree, Katie, that it is time for the greatest North Carolina beater to leave, just like it was time for another guy to no longer play.
Oh man! Oh wow!
Oh. You're
the Super Bowl.
You're shameful.
I love you guys.
That trophy.
Yeah, I do. I just want to touch it. It's one time. I love it. Absolutely. I'm with it. Nate, come on back, Nate. I do have to say, before we get in, we're going to start your segment in a second. But before we get into that, of all of the people that were there was one person where I was like, are you kidding me? Terrell Owens. That's my quarterback. He's my quarterback. He was in the stands eating popcorn. Did you see that, Nate?
I saw.
Yeah, I saw him. But
what's he doing at the game?
Right.
You went to Chattanooga. Come on, man.
Come on now.
It was interesting to see who was there as far as celebrities. Like Ken Jeong, and then
Yeah, he got on camera a lot.
There was Jerry Seinfeld and the NBA commissioner
Adam Silver.
Yeah, it was interesting to see the celebrities that showed up. But
I agree.
You know, the biggest celebrity in that building was the man whose court it's named after.
Coach K.
Coach K.
K.
Absolutely. Now, I definitely know that the school definitely made its money today.
Without a doubt. Oh, yeah. Without a doubt.
Look, one of the tickets sold for almost $10,000 for that game.
I believe that. It was a who's who, and Jerry Seinfeld was in the game. You know what I mean? He was there. Like it was a who's who. It was like going to a Lakers game in the late '80s. You know what I mean? All the stars, all that. Like,
it was kind of like Kobe's last game when he dropped 60 on Utah.
Right.
Exactly. Everybody was there. It's becoming a place to be, the must-see event. But look, we got to move on, man. We appreciate you being here with us. We're coming close to the end of the show, but I got another new segment that we're gonna drop on you, and for both you guys, I'm working on a little intro. I do have this clip here, so I'm gonna start it, and I'm gonna bring you in on Nate's note. I just like how that part starts up. Nate, notes. What you got, man? Today's notes, man. We're covering the other side of the college basketball. What you got, man?
Tina Thompson got fired as head coach of University of Virginia women's basketball after 4 seasons.
Ooh.
Tough. It really was. I mean, look, Hall of Famer. I do think her recruiting was not that well in terms of getting shooters.
Yeah.
And also too is the ACC. Like there are expectations. I do feel like she's not really from this area, so you're going to, I think that kind of also was an issue. But yeah, I believe she'll get another job probably as an assistant. But that stood out to me. Couple teams, a few teams this year I noticed didn't really have great seasons. We had a few of them. I'm gonna start off in where is it at? North Carolina at Wilmington didn't win a basketball game.
Oh God.
Oh, that's brutal.
0-18.
Guys. Oh, the men's or the women's?
Women's.
Who?
The women's.
Women's?
Oh, dang. Some clip.
The men. Can you hear me?
Can't hear a thing.
Oh. Can you hear me now? Oh.
Can you hear me, Sean?
As we wait for Nate to come back.
He said
that is brutal.
Women's team.
Now I can't hear from. Am I going deaf?
I think you're going deaf. Nate, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Sean can't hear us.
Might be his.
I'm going to go out and come back in.
Okay. Well, I'm going to continue. The men's University of North Carolina Wilmington, they play in the same conference as Towson, the Colonial Athletic. So they actually had a good year.
What was their record?
I think they won like 20-something games.
Oh, wow.
I think it was. As far, I mean, I'm just going.
Can you hear us
now? Yeah, we're good.
Okay. In the Big Ten for the ladies, Illinois was the worst team, 1-13. There's a couple other teams. Delaware State, they were 0-14.
Can you imagine not winning one game all season?
Not even one.
Not even one.
Let's see. University of Louisiana at Monroe, 0-14. And keep in mind, I think a lot of these games too. I've noticed. I think most of them had to be suspended or postponed because at the time with COVID, that back in early January with COVID.
That makes sense.
West Carolina University 0-14. Auburn, 2-14.
Jeez.
And their men are so good.
Right.
And it's the same recruiting pool you would think coming in that area. You'd think there'd be some good women to recruit from.
Wow. Yeah, and it is like the University of Detroit, 1-21.
Oh yeah, they were terrible.
UIC 1-20.
Oh
my God.
Yeah.
Trying to like show up for those practices and games had to be brutal.
Yeah.
I don't know if my psyche and my
I couldn't do it.
Do it.
I couldn't do it. Butler 0-18.
Yeah, look,
this is the women's.
This is where you need that. Your
men are not even that good anymore for Butler.
Yeah, they had some good years, and obviously, when that coach left,
Oh, they would go, yeah.
I feel like we need that clip. What is that Tyrese clip? Nathan was like, "Congratulations!"
Yeah,
because they're just pitiful, man. I feel for you. Anybody that is able to get on a team and play, shout out to you because I can't do it. My knees will not allow it.
But I think it also says again about what you're bringing. Look, what you're recruiting.
Right.
What you're bringing into the program. Like, it's amazing because some of these teams, like UMBC's women's basketball team, they were good for a couple years and they fell off. I got my Towson Tigers. They finished second in the CAA. I do feel like the Big East is probably the most boring conference for the women. The men's not too bad, but the women's is boring because it's UConn.
It's always just UConn.
Yeah, right.
But
for years, it's been just UConn.
For you, and that's why I'm a firm believer that cause I did a mock draft.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Ryan Howard, Nalissa Smith, and Shakira Austin are going to be the top 3 picks for this year's upcoming WNBA draft.
Oh wow!
Wow.
Boom. There it is.
Like Ryan Howard, I'm convinced has to be our number 1 pick for the Washington Mystics.
Are your Mystics going to be the number 1? Is the number 1 team?
Yeah, we didn't have a good year this past season.
I'm sorry.
It was pitiful. They should be on this list. Let's just say that.
Yes.
They have them in.
Well, the Wizards.
Yeah. Well, why the Wizards started off so well?
They started off 10-3.
Oh God!
First place,
now, baby.
So, are you saying you're struggling in the capital area?
Oh, God.
Well, I mean, Ted Leonsis doesn't really care about the Wizards. He just loves him. Alex Ovechkin. It's been like that since he took over from day one.
See, and I'm really hopeful because the Pistons are starting to do well.
That's why we support Carolina, baby. Gotta have one good one. All right. Get out of here, Nate. Get out of here. Oh, there we go. Let's go.
But no, that's pretty much all that's happening. They do have the finalists for the Wooden Award for the ladies. I believe the men's will come out soon. Let me just pull it up really quick for y'all.
Okay.
I know Caitlin Clark's on that list. Aaliyah Boston, Angel Reese is on that list as well. I'm trying to think who was on that list. The time I had while pulling it up. It's a good list. All of them have a strong case to be on that list. It's 15 players. So Aaliyah Boston, South Carolina, Caitlin Clark, Shakira Austin, Ole Miss, Cameron Brink out of Stanford, Alyssa Kune out of NC State, Destiny Henderson, South Carolina, Naz Hillman, Michigan, Ryan Howard, Kentucky, Ashley Jones, Iowa State, Haley Jones, Stanford, Okoye Lee, Kansas State, Anisha Morrow DePaul, I think is my National Rookie of the Year, Caleb Pointer, LSU, Angel Reese, and then Alyssa Smith out of Baylor. So,
wow.
Good list of women.
Yeah.
And this is also going to be the first year where whoever wins this year, I'm praying it's not a UConn or an Oregon player. Because last year Was it not last year? The year before, Asia Wilson, I think, was the most recent one. So
Bless you.
Bless you.
Thank you. Oh yeah,
but,
let's hope so. I'm very eager to see who pulls that out, and thank you for that, Nate. Because now I want to follow that to see who are the players of who is the player of the year, who is the rookie, like the freshman of the year, sixth man coach of the year.
Definitely, Anisha Morrow should be rookie of the year.
Yeah.
As far as, oh man, I mean, like at this point, it's going the way the media has put the two. It's going to be Aaliyah Boston or Caitlin Clark. I mean, again, everyone has made great cases for their teams respectively. I like Delissa Smith, Shakira Austin, former Maryland Terp, and Alyssa Kune went to Maryland too.
Wow, did they leave?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Painful.
Did that say something about Maryland?
Do you know who?
Something's wrong with my screen.
NC State women.
Yes.
They are playing really good.
28-3 right now.
Yeah, they are playing.
I want Dawn Staley Sean to just take North Carolina and just beat them. I really want them to beat you guys. Man.
What's with all the hate, man? Hey, look.
And I thought New Yorkers were bad. North Carolinians. Oh my goodness.
Hey, you like how humble us Michigan fans are? We just sit here.
Wow. What? Oh my goodness.
I had to give it to you a little bit.
Let's go. Yes.
Then,
hey, go ahead.
One other note. Kim Mulkey. Listen, I love Kim since her time at Baylor. Produced a lot of great talent out of Baylor. Brady Griner, Kalani Brown, Odyssey Sims, Dejanay Carrington, Dee Richards. Great coach. I did think last night was a bit over the top. I understand. Again, the whole thing we were talking about earlier with the coach from Alabama, defending your players and, making sure, hey, there's consistency. But as someone who's kind of not followed Kim Mulkey, who's tried to follow her, I've never seen her get like that before. Like, I mean, when you're literally standing in front of a referee's face
right,
and screaming on him like that.
Yeah. That was ugly.
Not a good look.
Sorry, Sean, I have to remind people, like, it reminds me of when Tom Izzo gets into a ref's face and says the stuff he says to them. He does it.
It reminds me of when Jim Harbaugh gets in his mean scowl face and says the stuff he says. We can say that about anybody.
The refs.
Let's go.
Because he knows they're not going to listen. So he says it's like whatever.
But yeah, it is. Again, it goes back to what we've been talking about.
Professionalism.
Right. Being the mature one. Right. And look, there are certain situations where, look, you can make a case where you say, I understand why they did what they did, but you gotta, you have to be aware of your surroundings, and you have to make sure that you can control your emotions in those situations, because, you're being watched by a lot of people.
Yep.
But look, hey, ladies and gentlemen, we are so glad that you were here with us. We are going to go ahead and wind it down. Nathan, thank you so much for those notes. Stay tuned for that, ladies and gentlemen. Coming weeks as we go through this tournament, more of the notes that Nate's got, more of the coaches, Kate's coaches, where she talks about different coaches, and we're just gonna hit you with just a lot of the March Madness news and notes, things that we've been seeing, and try to give you all of this. Again, we're gonna hit you. We're gonna be here with you guys, hopefully on a Selection Sunday, covering both men's and women's, and kind of give our little 2 cents. Maybe even hit a live little bracket on here. Us filling something out. So we can let you guys see what we got going on. But I absolutely love this. I love talking to you guys about it. So I'm gonna go around the board real quick and give us a chance to say one more thing. Kate, you got anything for us?
Just that I'm excited that tomorrow is the last game that my interim coach, Phil, the Godfather Martelli, will be coaching. And he's the Godfather. That's what they call him. But I'm glad my coach is going to be back after tomorrow. That Monday he can start interacting with his players again, come to the practices, start leading them and getting them ready for the Big Ten tournament. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see what Arkansas is going to do in the NCAA tournament because they've been a fun team to watch and see where they're heading. They might be one of those Cinderella teams in the tournament and knock off some of those teams that you would be surprised by. They're playing really good, like really good basketball. Yep. So I'm interested to see what they're going to do. And we'll see where Michigan's women's team gets placed in the tournament. I am interested to see, of course, where Duke goes in the ACC tournament if they end up winning that, and where they get seeded. But I think it's going to be an interesting March. I think we're going to think we know, but we're not going to know. I think it's going to be a team that surprises us that wins it all because it's been so unpredictable this season. Like last weekend when the top 6 all fell, you don't normally see that this late in the season. They're usually playing pretty consistently. So it's going to be an interesting tournament, both men and women, but I think we're going to be shocked by who ends up in that Final Four.
I believe it. Nathan, what you got, man?
Well, it's a trying year for the men, for the Maryland Terps. Mark Turgeon, I didn't know the multiple sins that were covered up with this team. I didn't realize once he stepped down, be that bad, this bad. Tomorrow's our last game. It's against Michigan State.
Loss. I'm ready. Come on now. I've been quiet too long. Let's go.
Say it, Sean. Let's go.
Let's go, baby.
Okay. So, we had senior night the other night. 4 seniors, Fats Russell, Eric Ayala. This is going to be the last game. I really do hope that this is this after the season is definitely going to be a transition for the men. It looks like Rick Pitino's not going to come to Maryland. Looks like he already made that clear on his Twitter, but there's always something that can always happen. So there's a few coaches that I can think of, but I want these fellas to go out on a high note, even though it's been a very disappointing year. I'll see what go on a high note, and the men's Maryland Terrapins are going to kick Michigan State's ass.
Wow!
Ooh, shots fired.
You know what? I'm going to let it slide. Cat's not here right now. I'm going to let it slide. All right?
Oh.
Hey.
Partially because my team won. Let's go. Yo, honestly, hey, I love doing this with you guys. I love being able to come on here and talk. I love this time of the year. I'm watching so many different games right now. I'm kind of keeping an eye on a couple close ones in like Conference USA and the Sun Belt and the A10. And there's all these different conferences. I didn't even know some of these conferences are. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to follow a lot of them. Shout out to Loyola, who's going back to I believe that's the A10 Conference Tournament Championship game. Mm-hmm. They're going there. They're playing Drake, and they got this kid that's the coach's son. I think his last name is DEVRIES, like DeVries or something like that. Kid's an assassin from the outside. He's nasty with his shots. He's really good. But it's going to be a great matchup. Loyola just beat Northern Iowa by like 20 after giving up 104 points to them a week ago. You know what I mean? So that's, you don't know. This thing is fickle. We don't know. You really can't call it. It's really who shows up on what day, because even like what we said, and not joking about this, but North Carolina, I'm not going to act like I expected that. I'm not going to act like I was like, oh yeah, this is going to happen. No, last time we saw Duke, we got beat by 20. So yeah, forgive me if that's what I thought was going to maybe happen today. I thought we'd keep it close, but so you really can't tell at this time of the year, and that's what I absolutely love. I think that is the best, and I cannot wait for the rest of March and into April. It's going to be fun.
Nate, you could have a worse opponent tomorrow. I have that team from that school, and that's god-awful state.
Oof. Wow. Wow. At least she says our name. She wouldn't even say their name. Good.
I will never say their name.
Let's go. Well, hey, you already know what it is, and we're going to go ahead and take you out the right way. I'm Sean Spencer.
I'm Kate Alverson.
And I'm Nathan Snell.
And this has been Let's Talk March Madness. See you, people.
Hey there, ladies and gents. It's your local handyman, Anton Benton, here to help you with your problems. I'm here right now on the job site, taking out whole kitchen cabinets. A little bit more work to do, but if you got a project at your house that you need to get completed, I'm your guy to finish it up for you. Give me a call, let me know what you need to get done.
Your new company, man. Shout out to your new company. Go ahead and tell the world about your new company real quick.
Oh boy. So marketing, Anton Benton Pros.
Yes.
Doing everything from plumbing to electrical to making huge decks to doing closets.
Yes.
Doing it all.
That's what's up, man. I'm super happy for
you guys. Thank you.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
I am Wnba Draft.
I'm Sean Spencer.
We are back.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen.
I gotta go out and hold up.
Come on. The lion. Here. The lion. You need to fight. Kirk Cousins.
All right. I am Wnba Draft.
I am Sean.